Robert Kelly asked his fans and supporters to do work for him. He sent many messages through many people, including his lawyers, asking his fans to work together, to do work together, to send information to his lawyers, to research things, to do rallies, to help him. He was enlisting fans and supporters to work for him. Now, no one knew the amount of work that it would require or the amount of time that it would take up or the obstacles that were faced. Everybody that did work had to fight, had to do offense and defense, and you were consumed with this case 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 5 years. And those that got on Robert's side were fighting to help get him released because he had no help. No one in the camp stepped up to help him. No one in his brotherhood helped him. No one that was his friend in his inner circle came out to help him. No one publicly spoke up for him. So he relied solely on the fans and supporters to do work for him. Slavery was abolished in this country. There is no such thing as free labor. Robert Kelly has assets that are in the hundreds of millions. And every single fan and supporter that did work needs to be compensated for the work that they did. You need to file 2 separate lawsuits because Don Russell has assets and Keith Calvert has assets. And you don't want to lump the lawsuits together. You want to do Don Russell, his mother June Barrett, and his wife, and any people that Don Russell sold R. Kelly's intellectual properties to, and any persons that he went into business with or formed partnerships with using R. Kelly's intellectual property. And keep in mind, Don Russell is on probation. So if he lies or gives false information during your lawsuit, he goes back to prison. So that's one lawsuit, and it should be for $10 million. You don't want to put a ridiculously high number because you don't want the judge throwing it out. So you shoot for $10 million, land on $2 million. Then you want to do a separate lawsuit for Keith Calvert, Will Edey, his father's church. I believe Keith Calvert funneled millions into the church to hide the assets. You want to sue his restaurant, Bronzeville Soul, Mario Coleman, his business partner, his wife, who has a house in California, I believe in Linwood. Keith has a brand new house in the south suburbs in Chicago. You want to sue the engineers because they're the ones that would have Rob's music and know where they send it to sell it. And he has a black guy who is his intellectual property attorney. All of them you name in the lawsuit. If you don't know their names, you do like Bonji did in her BOP lawsuit, and you request that the other side divulge that information. So those are 2 separate lawsuits, both $10 million each, and you aim for $10 million, which is a reasonable number, and then you'll land on maybe $2 million. But you need to have proof and verification of the work that you've done. That means any videos you did on your channel, even if there was fighting, because this was a contentious case. Rallies that you did, video and pictures from the rallies, any behind the scenes work that you did. People that donated money to the channel need to be compensated. People that put money on Rob's books need to be compensated. It was Keith's responsibility to keep money on Rob's books. Why were his fans being asked to pay Joy's rent? Why were his fans being asked to put money on his books? He has nothing for food. Why were fans being asked to put money on his commissary when there were millions and tens of millions available. So in the discovery process, Keith Calvert will have to show the court every single dime that came in and when it came in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, etc. Every dime must be accounted for. And you'll be able to see if he had money to hire Tom Mesereau, if he had money to hire experts and doctors and a professional private investigator, not some clown-ass nigga off YouTube. And if we see that in 2019 monies were available and he didn't do that, it's proof that he was sabotaging Rob. If it was there in 2020, 2021, 2022, and he has to show what he did with that money. So you've got millions coming in, you're selling music, and yet you don't get this man better lawyers, experts, doctors, forensic experts, professional detectives and private investigators. And all of this is Rob's money. The royalties are Robert Kelly. The music is Robert Kelly. All the intellectual property is Robert Kelly. That does not belong to Don Russell or Keith. So for them to take his personal money and use it for their benefit is criminal. But you get all of that information in discovery. Don Russell and June Barrett own the 2-flat building that they live in on the west side. June's father paid for that. It was paid in full. He left her that when he died. All they pay are property taxes every year. And they own the building 4114 West Madison Street. And that hard drive that Don swore somebody stole off his back seat, he sold that for $1.3 million. So they have assets, and you need to have a lawsuit specifically for Don Russell, his mother June Barrett, his wife, and you know that they own those 2 properties. And you also have him saying at the end of Tasha K. Carey's interview that he had all of Rob's intellectual property. Remember, he was showing some of Rob's awards that were on the shelf, and Tasha K was looking at them, and he said he had to move all the stuff out of the basement and move it to a temperature-controlled storage space. So you have him admitting he has Robert's shit. He went on Dubosky's channel in an interview and showed Rob's intellectual property. And he went on Choke No Joke when I was on there, and he was admitting, yes, he has Robert's intellectual property. 3 truckloads that he removed.